Well, thought reframing is reframing our thoughts. So, as the name suggests, it's about trying to work with the thoughts that do pop into our brain. And if you didn't know this before, we've got very little control over what pops into our brain. So it's not about stopping, the thoughts that pop into our brain, but it's about understanding them differently and being able to react to them differently. So that's at the core of thought reframing. So when we get anxious, our brain conjures up a whole lot of thoughts and feelings that don't tend to be too helpful. It gets really busy thinking about what we can't do, what's coming up, how bad it's going to be. There are errors that our brains click into, catastrophizing, mountains out of molehills, being black and white in our thinking. If it's not perfect, then it's horrible. We personalize things and see ourselves as being responsible. So we have a whole lot of lenses that can that help us make sense of experiences or things that we're seeing or thinking or feeling. The problem is those lenses aren't necessarily very helpful and tend to feed the anxiety loop. So thought reframing is first of all about catching those thoughts, because a lot of these thoughts are so familiar to us and have been around for such a long time that they're busily working their influence under the radar, and we don't even know what we're telling ourselves half the time. So a really core part of thought reframing is first of all catching the thoughts. And then it's about becoming a bit of a critical evaluator of those thoughts. What is it that we're telling ourselves? And are there some different ways to understand this? Remember, it's not about saying we can stop these thoughts, but it's how do we change our relationship to them? How do we bring in new information that allows us to pay attention to different parts of information? So, what is the evidence I've got to believe this thought as opposed to this other data, what everyone else is telling me? Or thought reframing might also involve, catching those thinking errors and going, oh, there I go again. And all of these strategies are around trying to create some distance between you and these thoughts that we're having, because we're not our thoughts. They are a product of our brain. And so if we're able to become an observer of those, become a bit more critical about the information that they're telling us, feel calmer in their presence, or find other ways, other bits of information to attend to while our brain's getting busy with these worry thoughts, then that really helps break or interrupt the anxiety cycle and can help us feel a lot more in control of what's going on around us.